The LGBTQ community encompasses all sorts of identity. We are women, we are people of color, we are cisgender, we are transgender, across the spectrum. And in order to fight for LGBTQ equality means to fight for all of those identities.
With all that's going on now with racial injustice and racist police practices, I think the LGBTQ community in particular is well positioned to understand that. Because it wasn't terribly long ago that we were afraid of the police, that we viewed them as the enemy, that we viewed them as the people who would hurt us, that we viewed them as the people who would arrest us just for who we are, kick us out of our bars and throw us into jail and beat us up and torment and harass us. So we understand in a way that perhaps some others don't, the importance of improving those relationships and ending racial injustices, because that's the way we had been treated.
And I think this kind of gives us a moment to take a pause and think about those that we forgot and that we left behind, who really led our struggle, particularly trans women of color. And how is it that we let them lead the march, but then we left them at the back of the line?
Last week alone, we lost 2 trans women of color. And, we're talking about Black Lives Matter, and, Black trans lives matter too. It seems that transgender people of color are being brutalized more than someone like me. And we have to keep them in the conversation all the time. And right now is a prime time to keep trans women of color in the conversation and right up front.
I believe in Black trans power.
The tragedy is that Black trans people have not benefited from the movement that they started. And that means that we cannot replicate that in a moment when the lives of Black people are being centered in a movement that focuses on equality, the ending of police violence, and the centering of Black people's humanity. Black trans women, Black trans people cannot be left out at that moment. We cannot replicate and wait another 50 years for us to be able to try to have some way of creating equality.
Today, we're all coming together to say loudly and clearly that trans rights are human rights, LGBTQ rights are human rights, and Black lives matter.